right. You're live. And welcome here. We are live from the DIAA office here in Dover. Thanks for joining us, however way you're joining us. The big day is here. I'm Nick Allison Jr. from 302 Sports, alongside Mike Lang and DIAA head Tommy Neubauer. Just to say, first off, special thanks to Tommy and the DIAA for letting us come in here and do this. It's going to be real exciting. And Tommy, anything you would like to say?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Incognito Productions, Chris Larson, 302, headed by Nick Halliday, all of our media people that support us. We really, really thank you. Our corporate sponsors of Nike, State Champs, and don't forget, always refuel with chocolate milk. And then last but not least, the real mainstay of DIAA, our volunteer committees.
Well, thanks again. I'll say a special thanks.
I'm sorry, this is the first time for this. Everybody joins. Our volunteer committees that are made up of coaches, administrators, officials, and public members, they do the grunt of the work, and they are really our mainstay, and I really want to thank them. And our chair for the girls basketball committee, Ms. Ruth LaJoy, in her number year. Ruth's been around since the ball still had seams on it. So, Nick, I turn it back over to you and Mike. And
thank you so much, Tommy. Very much. I appreciate it. All right, so we're about to get here underway.
We'll switch over.
So me and Mike here. First off, we're going to kick this off by bringing you the girls bracket first. So we're going to get that underway in a few seconds. So the girls bracket will be revealed first. So we're going to get that underway starting right now. So our first matchup, number 9 seed Sussex Tech will be taking on number 24 seed Laurel. And let me remind you, all first round and second round matchups will take place at 6:30 at the location of the higher seed. So Mike, we look over here, number 9 Sussex Tech and number 24 Laurel, Wednesday, February 28th. That's your first matchup here, 9 and 24.
Yeah, Laurel has Logan Handy, who does the bulk of their scoring. They've been a Henlopen South power the past few years. Sussex Tech, as we know, Henlopen, very strong Henlopen North this year. They have multiple players who can score and do the work. So that is going to be, for those of you downstate, you don't have to drive too far. Laurel to Georgetown, not much of a trip, so that should be a good one to open the brackets on Wednesday.
So there's your first matchup, number 9 Sussex Tech and number 24 Laurel. So now we're going to take another one step over. Our next matchup is
who they're playing.
Oh, sorry, who they're playing.
First time for us doing this too, right?
So they're going to take on number 8 seed Howard. So Mike, Howard coming in at the number 8 seed, and they'll get the winner of Sussex Tech and Laurel.
I've seen Howard several times this year, multiple talented players led by Kayla Rouse, Nalia Wright, and Ronasia Blatch-Huggins. They can fill up the basketball, fill up the bucket. It's not surprising to see them score into the 70s. That should be a wild scene over there at Howard, a great place to watch a game, and I think that should be a great game in round 2, I believe, on Friday night.
So there you have it, number 8 seed Howard. They will get the winner of number 9 seeded Sussex Tech and number 24 seeded Laurel. So now we'll head to the next matchup, and that is number 10 Padua taking on number 23 Concord. So as you see, Mike, again, these games 6:30. This one will be at Padua, or excuse me, at AI. They'll be playing at AI Gym.
Yeah, the Padua Gym, for various reasons, they're not going to play. They're going to play at AI with more parking and facilities that they can use. Concord, led by Jean A. Snow, the senior all-state contender, against a resurgent Padua club, won 14 games this year after just winning 5 last year. Only 2 seniors on that Padua team, so Sheila Donardo's got them going in the right direction. And a 10 seed for the Pandas, congratulations. Should be a fun game at AI on Wednesday.
Yes, sir, Mike. So number 10 Padua, number 23 Concord. And the winner of that one will get number 7 Ursuline.
Yeah, Ursuline's a 7 seed this year, finished 9 and 10, but the strength of schedule was outstanding. They played a lot of showcase events, and they played all the top teams in Delaware. The Raiders hurt by injuries all year and a couple of transfers, but Maggie Connolly led that team in scoring and just leadership and everything. And I don't care what their record is, nobody wants to play Ursuline, but that should be Ursuline should be rocking on Friday night, especially if Padua makes it over there.
Yes, so that's a potential matchup. So Ursuline being the 7 seed, they will get the winner of number 10 seeded Padua and number 23 seeded Concord. So now take a look at our next matchup here. And we have 12 seeded Newark Charter taking on the 21 seed, the Sparks from St. Mark's.
Yeah, I think we missed a 6 seed in there, but we'll go with this one. Start with Newark Charter and St. Mark's. St. Mark's, another team that rebounded this season, playing Newark Charter, led by Emily Ansa. I'm not sure if she's injured or not, so that could really be a factor. That came down at Newark Charter. Congratulations to the Patriots for getting in this year.
So the winner of 12 Newark Charter and 21 seeded St. Mark's, they will get number 6 seeded St. Thomas More.
I believe Thomas More is the 5 seed. Is that correct? So we have the slide incorrect, but the 5 seed.
sorry.
We have the wrong graphic up here. This is Thomas More is the 5 seed, so we're gonna have to go back and get the
Yeah.
6 seed before this.
So ignore this number here, but
This is
everything's the
5 seed.
same.
We're gonna-
Number 5 will be St. Thomas More, and they will get the winner of Newark Charter and St. Mark's.
Yeah, do we want to talk about this one real quick?
Yeah.
All right, so Thomas More, we're going to take the graphic down. We'll just talk about this game a little bit. So St. Mark's or Newark Charter, Thomas More. St. Thomas More finished the season 14-4. They had a couple of forfeit wins at the end of the season. They were investigated by the DIAA, deemed legitimate. St. Thomas More is a talented team, no matter what their schedule is looks like. They have Denasia Barnes, Anaya Patterson, and Olivia Lynch, and Jessica Simmons. They've got some talent on that team, so I would not expect the Ravens to be an easy out. And I think we want to go back to the other graphic before this one.
Yeah, if we could get.
I can't get the
So we're gonna stay. So the number 6 seed.
Well, the opening one, we do this one right here.
Yeah.
Even though we have the graphic up there.
Yeah. So right now you're gonna see this is the number 6 seeded St. Elizabeth's. They will get a first round bye. They will be at the bottom of your bracket, but they will get the winner of St. George's and Sussex Central. So Mike, we'll have St. George's and Sussex Central playing. St. George's being the 11 seed, Sussex Central being the 22 seed.
Okay, we're gonna do full. All right, Nick's gonna take care of this one. You know, we're just having fun here today, aren't we?
Yeah, go back.
All right, so we're gonna have Sussex Central at St. George's. Sussex Central, 9-11 and a very tough Henlopen North. St. George's puts up a lot of points. They were one of the top teams in Flight A. I believe they had 17 wins, 16 or 17 wins this year. And so that should be a high-scoring affair down at St. George's. Actually, up from Dover, it's up at St. George's. Yeah, I'm used to being down. All right, so
So the winner of that game will take on number 6 seeded.
we got the boss
St.
here to fix
Elizabeth's.
things
Yep.
for us.
And the board can have very nice board. They know they never work perfectly.
There we
So,
go.
see how I'm
There it
used
is.
to that.
Sussex
Hey, here we
Central,
go.
St. George's. Appreciate
Here
your
we go,
patience.
yeah. So here's the matchup we've been talking about. Number 11, St. George's. Number 22, Sussex Central. We just talked about that. And then the winner of this matchup will take on number 6, the St. Elizabeth's Vikings.
All right, so let's see if we can get this to operate. There we go.
And here we go. So now on to
We got-
number
we
5
already
team,
did
the
this
St.
one, right?
Thomas More. We talked about them. They will get the winner of Newark Charter and St. Mark's. So we're going to keep it going now with this matchup now. Number 13, Archmere, and number 20, Dickinson.
Yeah, Dickinson led by the high-scoring, and I mean high-scoring senior Lynn J. Brown. She's not alone on that team. And I think she has a little more help this year than she's had in the past. They're going to meet an Archmere team that really likes to play defense, led by Amanda Denning in the middle. Archmere gets some scoring from McCann and Stewart, so more of a multiple-player approach for the Hawks. Archer is happy to keep the score in the high 30s or low 40s. Dickinson prefers it up in the 60s, even into the 70s. So a contrast in style up in Claymont on Wednesday night should be a good one.
So who will the winner of this matchup get? And it will be the number 4 seeded Hodson Silver Eagles.
Silver Eagles led by All-State contender Kayla Braxton Young, along with Janiyah Perkins Jackson, the dynamic duo for the Silver Eagles. And they are going to present a problem for either Dickinson or Archmere, another team that likes to score and likes to run and gun. So if they play Dickinson, you can see attractive. If they're playing Archmere, you're going to see more of a slow-down style for Archmere and a run and gun for the Silver Eagles. Fantastic season for Hodson, and to see if they can do some damage in the state tournament.
So Hodson, they are your 4 seed. They will again take on the winner of number 13 seeded Archmere and number 20 seeded Dickinson. So again, Mike, we're going to move on. Our next matchup, we find number 14 Tatnall matching up against number 19 Appo.
So Appo, led by the sophomore transfer Tink Davis, is going to travel up to Tatnall. I've seen Tatnall several times this year. I only saw Appo once. Tatnall's led by, they're not very deep, but they've got a very talented starting lineup with Kennedy Brown and Shelby Bailey Smiley really leading the way. I expect probably a low-scoring game in this one at Tatnall. It's a good atmosphere up there, and that one should be an exciting game.
All right, and who will the winner of Tatnall and Apo get in the second round? It is the number 3 seeded Conrad Red Wolves, Mike.
Let me tell you, if you have not seen Conrad play, you don't know what you're missing. You have to get out. They can score. They play defense. They like to run. We've seen them several times. You've seen them. They're just so much fun with the sisters, Julie and Steph Kaleja. They have Nye Whittlesey in the paint. Alyssa Favell just running the show out there. She playing the smallest player on the court, and she's playing defense and getting rebounds and shooting. She goes inside. A real treat to watch Conrad. I'm telling you, if you haven't seen them, that is a team you want to see, and they're going to be a favorite to win everything.
So Connor, they're the 3 seed. They will get the winner of Tatnall and Apo. So now moving on, our next matchup. On 15, Wilmington Christian taking on number 18 seeded Caesar Rodney.
Yeah, if you'd asked me before the season, I probably would have switched these two. Caesar Rodney, a kind of a veteran team. Kylie Cornegay-Lucas kind of leads the way for them. They also have Zoe Scott and a couple other, Alexis Reed. So they have some talented players in there. Wilmington Christian kind of came out of nowhere this year. Janae Carter is their big gun in the middle, and on the outside they're led by Christina Barantes, who's their point guard. They also have a couple of other talented players, but really Carter is the main offensive weapon. Wilmington Christian, I've been 15-5 this year. I don't have the records in front of me. And they're 14-6. They lost to Tatnall the other day, so a 700 winning percentage. Wilmington Christian's not just scored a ton of points, but they're a good team and fun to watch.
So you have 15 Wilmington Christian against number 18 seeded Caesar Rodney, and the winner of this one will get number 2 Sanford.
Yeah, congratulations. Wilmington Christian has seen Sanford twice this year in the independent first year in the independent conference. We all know about Sanford, led by Lauren Park Lane. They have Olivia Tucker, who can shoot from anywhere on the floor. They have Sam Pollock inside, and Ali Kubek, unfortunately, is injured, but their starting 5 matches up with anybody in the state. They're a little thin on the bench, so if you get them in foul trouble, that's where you're going to do your damage. But Sanford is, they're talented, they're ready to go. They haven't won in a couple of years, and I know they're ready.
So Sanford, they are your number 2 seed in the girls bracket, and they will get the winner of Wilmington Christian and Caesar Rodney. So here we go. Our last matchup of 16 Woodbridge taking on 17 Delmarva Christian.
I did see Woodbridge this year, did not see Delmarva Christian. I don't believe Delmarva Christian came up north during the season. We're going to slide over this way. So Woodbridge, 17-3 winners of the Henlopen South. And Delmarva Christian plays a lot of your games against teams in Maryland. So not too much known about Delmarva Christian. I expect kind of a low-scoring affair. I'm going to admit, these are 2 teams I don't know a whole heck of a lot about, but it should be a 17-16 always seems to be a close one.
And you can check out Woodbridge tonight live on 302 Sports as they battle for the Henlopen Championship.
That's right.
So the winner of Woodbridge and Delmarva Christian will advance to take on your number 1 seed of the entire girls tournament, the Caravel Buccaneers.
We've seen Caravel, multi-talented team. They are deep up and down the bench. They're experienced. They were in the final. They've been in the final 3 of the last 5 seasons. They were there last year against Ursuline. You're looking at Sasha Marple, Maya Bryson. They have Kendra Warren, who transferred in this year. I always forget Kayla Alowski, Carly Cawley. You just keep going up and down that Taria Hunt. You just keep going up and down the lineup. Kristen Caldwell's got a great group at Caravel. We saw them, Conrad beat them this year, but they didn't fall too much this year. And Caravel's number 1, and they're going to be a tough out.
So there you have your number 1 seed is Caravel. So if we could take a look at the whole bracket here, you get a whole overview of the entire thing. Like we talked about, Caravel, your number 1 seed, Sanford, your number 2 seed, Conrad 3, Hodson 4.
Yeah, Nick, we see some really potential quarterfinal matchups if the seeds hold. St. Elizabeth's and Conrad put on a classic last week.
Yeah.
But they have to get through their first games before they get to the Bob a week from tomorrow, I believe, or Sunday, a week from Sunday. So, yeah, the second round game's just looking real quick. It's Padua or Ursuline could be a real good one. Caesar Rodney, Sanford, and over on this side, you get Sussex Tech and Howard. I think might be a really good one. So you see some pretty good matchups lined up for Friday night in round 2.
And as we talked about earlier, all first and second round matchups will be at 6:30 at the higher seeded gym, except for Padua is an exception. They will be playing at AI. And so here you have it. You see all seedings here. I'm going to look at the bracket. I want to say a special thank you to the DIAA. Tommy, thank you so much for having us here and for putting all this hard work in. And Incognito Productions, as you see these graphics here. Fantastic graphics, as you can see. So there you have it, Mike. Here is our girls bracket. You see all the seedings. One final look here. Mike, anything you want to throw in that?
Yeah, this is, we always say it every year, there's usually, it's a top heavy. I'd say it's probably a little top heavy this year, but man, if any of those top 8 seeds, if they're all 4 of those top 8 are at the Bob, what a fantastic Final Four we're going to have at the Bob on Wednesday, March 7th.
So there you have it, folks. Your girls bracket reveal. We're going to take a quick, short commercial break, but when we come back, we are live with the boys basketball bracket reveal. Coming up next, we're going to take a short break. Thanks for everyone joining us, and we'll be right back here on 302 Sports and live from the DIAA office with the boys bracket.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, to the DIAA official reveal special. Now we're moving on to the boys basketball state tournament bracket. We're joined yet again by Mr. Tommy Neubauer, and he's going to step aside. We're going to step aside and let him give his remarks.
I'd like to thank everyone involved, Incognito Productions, 302 Sports, if you were here for the girls, I'll repeat that, and our corporate sponsors, Nike, our official ball supplier, Refuel with Chocolate Milk, go ahead, Sanford people, you can laugh at me, and State Champs for our online ticketing. I'd like to thank the guys that are going to help out here and do the reveal, and last but certainly not least, a big shout out and thanks to the DIA State Boys Basketball Committee chaired by Brian Fay, made up of coaches, officials, administrators, public members. They do the bulk of the work. We at DIA could not exist without them. And I forgot to do this for the first part, but the person that really brought this all together was the linchpin to all, my assistant Terry Taylor. Big shout out to her for all her hard work. So, guys, I throw it over to you and let's have fun.
Thank you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Talking about some boys basketball now, joined alongside with Mr. Jason Winchell. Jason, let's dive right into it. What do you say?
Absolutely.
Oh, here we go. We're going to have these issues again. Not on my watch. Here we go. First matchup. Intriguing. The 24th seeded Newark High School taking on the Vikings, the 9th seed of St. Elizabeth. This will be taking place on Tuesday, February 27th, 6:30 at St. E's. Jay, talk about this matchup.
Yeah, St. Elizabeth's having a great year. They lost Jordan Money, but his brother Justin Money is having a great year, along with Nathan Thomas. Newark is a very high offensive team. They like to score, and so this could be a very good opening round matchup.
And just a reminder, as I forgot to say, all first-round matchups will be on Tuesday, February 27th, 6:30 tip-off at the highest seeds home gym. So let's move on. Winner of this game will be taking on the 8th-seeded Hawks of St. George's Technical, led by Bones Highland. It's a good-looking team.
Yes, and it could be St. George's played both teams, so it's going to be a rematch. Whoever to get there in the second round, both were very entertaining first game matchups, so that's going to be a potential great second round matchup.
Keep an eye out for that one. Moving yet right along. Another matchup here. The Spartans of St. Mark's, the 23rd seed, taking on the Lions of Red Lion, the 10th seed. Hey, break this one down.
Yeah, both had 15 wins this year.
Yeah.
So they both had remarkable seasons. St. Mark's is a very defensive-minded team, and they do a lot of good things. And so it's going to be an interesting game.
And they will be taking on the 7th-seeded Warriors of Sanford High School, 15-win team led by the two youngsters there,
Yes.
Jair Davis and Nana Joku. What do you see in these guys?
Yeah, and don't forget the Perkins brothers.
Mhm.
They're very good offensively, and it's going to be a really good game.
Moving right along, we got the 22nd seeded Ravens of St. Thomas More traveling upstate, taking on the 11th seeded Mount Pleasant Green Knights. Jay, looks like another intriguing first round matchup.
Yeah, it is a very intriguing matchup, and we'll see if Mount Pleasant can get a certain guy back for that game. But it'll be interesting to see. St. Thomas More, a run and gun team, very offensive minded. That has a potential to be a very high scoring first round.
Guys talking about Kayvon Kramer, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
He's out.
We'll have to see. Never know. Moving on. Who will they be taking on? Either of these two teams. If they win, the 6th seeded Sussex Tech. What do we see in this team, Jay?
They are a guard-oriented team. They can shoot some free throws. Do not foul these guys. They will make their free throws. 16-win team. Their only losses were to Smyrna and Cape Henlopen.
Moving right along as we continue this bracket special. The 21st seed Vikings of Christiana make it in as the 21st seed, taking on Lake Forest at the 12th seed. Jason, an intriguing upstate-downstate matchup.
Yeah, and Christiana, halfway through the season, looked like they were struggling, and they really turned it on in the second half with nice wins over Tower Hill. They took St. Mark's, gave St. Mark's a really good game. So it's going to be an interesting matchup. Lake Forest, the downstate team, had an incredible year. So it's going to be a very good opening round matchup.
Who they will play if they win, the defending runner-up from last year's state tournament, the Buccaneers of Caravel, led by Okoye Parker and a pretty balanced roster. What do you see with this team?
Yeah, and like you said, a very balanced roster. Parker's starting to heat up. He scored a couple 40-point games last week, so they're going to be a very dangerous team. They're starting to click on all cylinders, and not a team that I want to play in the second round.
Keep an eye out for them as we move forward. The next matchup we're looking at, the Jaguars, the 20th seed of Appoquinimink, taking on Caesar Rodney, the 13th seed. What do you see in these two teams, Jason?
Yeah, both played very strong schedules, and that's why they're both seated right where they are. Really tough teams. Both will play close games, so they both know how to win in crunch time. So that's going to be a really, really good game.
Moving on, the winner of this one will take on the 4th-seeded Colonials of William Penn. And this team here, Jay, defense, defense, defense.
Absolutely. Coach Christensen has that defensive mentality, and they really play strong defense, and that was evident in that win over Smyrna to finish the season Tuesday night.
Moving right along, Jay. Indian River, a little downstate matchup. The 19th-seeded Indian River will be taking on 14th-seeded Woodbridge. Jason, who's going to win? What do you see in this battle between the two downstate teams?
Well, they're both playing the Henlopen and South. So they played twice this year, and so it's going to be a third time meeting each other. So teams are very familiar with each other, and it's going to be a really, really good contest. Woodbridge is your Henlopen South champions.
Keeping an eye out on that. Winner of this one moves on to play the defending champs, the Eagles of Smyrna, your third seed here in the boys bracket.
Yeah, and then no surprise, they're a very talented team with Matthews and Bloodsworth and Garnett, so they're very talented. And they're playing Woodbridge tonight in the Henlopen Championship game, so there's a possible meeting there in the second round if Woodbridge advances.
Keep an eye out for that one. Moving right along, Wilmington Friends making an appearance in this year's tournament. The 18th seed will be traveling to Dover to take on the Senators, Jay. Yet again, another intriguing matchup here.
Yeah, and don't be fooled by Dover's record. They had a really great year, played a very tough schedule, and that's why they're sitting there at the 15th seed. Friends is also a very, very talented team that's played teams like St. Elizabeth's and Slasianum real close in losses.
You're right, Jay. That strength of schedule came in for Dover. 22 bonus points for them.
There you go.
Moving right along, they're going to take on the Sows of Salesianum, your second seed in the tournament this year, Jay.
Yeah, and they've been led by the Brown brothers, but they have also had some good scoring by Darnar Vaughn and Mike Wallace. And they're up there because of bonus points
25.
also. They were 13-6 and had a very strong schedule. Played the likes of Smyrna, Sanford, Sussex Tech. So they played all the big guys this year.
Yep, 25 bonus points coming for the Sows this season. The last matchup we're going to talk about here, the Dragons of Glasgow get in as the 17th seed, and they'll be taking on Newark Charter, your 16th seed. This one, just a toss-up.
Yeah, and Newark Charter is led by Justin Thomas, and that dude can score. A really great year for Newark Charter. They played some tough teams, too. They played Red Line. They played Slasianum. So they played Newark. So they played a lot of tournament teams, so they will be tested. And Glasgow has had an outstanding season in that Flight B, a really competitive Flight B race this year.
One team left to reveal. Your number one overall seed for the 2018 DIAA Boys State Basketball Tournament is Cape Henlopen, the Vikings. What do you see in this team? 18-2 overall, Jay.
Yeah, they were a very dangerous team all year. They really got on a roll later in the year, and they really played well. So they're a team that to be reckoned with.
Got to keep an eye out for them. Moving right along, you can see on your screen now the full bracket as we just reviewed. Jason, what do you see as far as future matchups potentially in the semifinals or quarterfinals for that matter?
Yeah, you're looking at a possible Smyrna Sussex Tech meeting for a third time this year. Slasianum possibly hosting Sanford. Sally's facing Sanford again. They have regular season. So all these have potential. In fact, all of them probably played in the regular season. So it's all very good matchups coming down that wire.
Every year there's a team that finds their way playing that opening round game and somehow advancing further in the tournament. Last year we saw Carabel do it.
19 seed.
Do you have a team that you could see playing on Tuesday night that you could see potentially making their way to the Bob this year?
St. Elizabeth's would be one that comes to mind. Also, Woodbridge. I think Woodbridge is having a fantastic year, and when they get in the tournament, they can get hot.
All right, so there we go. We revealed both brackets to use at home. Thank you once again for watching. Thank you to the DIAA for everything that you guys do for Delaware athletics and putting together what looks to be yet another great tournament. Thanks to Incognito for the graphics, and once again, we're joined by Mr. Neubauer. Thanks once again.
Just want to wrap it up and thank everybody again. And reminder, first and second round, as we said, higher seated, $5 ticket. And then at the Bob, every ticket there is $8. Reminder, on the boys' side, we'll have a split doubleheader on Saturday. First doubleheader starts at 12. The second will start at 6. We are going to clear the Bob Carpenter Center in between. And we welcome everyone to come out and support high school athletics in the state of Delaware. Nick and your crew, Chris and your crew, thank you very much. Have a great day, everyone.